Welcome, Jiya. Good day. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm all good. How about you?
I am great. Welcome to DIC African Podcast with Umar Collins Ebube. So DIC simply means Deep Insight Conversation. So I'm sure that by the end of today, all the thing we're going to talk about will be coming from a place of deep insight. It will be insightful conversation. So that's why I have to bring you here to come as my guest, to come and teach us the human psychology so that we should understand our personality and how um, it influences our behavior. That's why I have to bring you here because you are the guru, you are the psychologist. So I have to bring you here to teach. Welcome. Thank you. But before we start, I would like you to introduce yourself in 1 minute.
Okay, so my name is Jiya Agrawal, and I'm 13 years old, about turning 14, and I am a vlogger. I post videos about communication and psychology, and I aim to let people understand more about themselves and how they can implement good changes in themselves. So, yeah, that's my topic for today: human psychology, understanding your personality, and how it influences your behavior. Okay, uh, so should I start?
All right, welcome. You can start now. So I'll be
Okay,
backstage. Once you're done for like 30 to 40 minutes, I'll be here to ask you my questions. Thank you. Take off.
sure. Okay, I will. Okay, okay, so hello everyone. I already introduced myself, so I'll just get to the point. So, first of all, we have understanding your personality. Now, what is personality? I will tell you, it is not, your personality is not something that is substantial. It's just a combination of your words, your actions, and your thoughts, and how you exhibit yourself in front of other people. So that's your personality. It's your certain tendencies to react in certain situations. So personality is composed of elements from two different sources. There is nature and there's nurture. Nature is that which you are inborn with. You have inherited genetically from your parents or any of your other relatives indirectly. And nurture is that which is cultivated after birth, which you use to hone your skills and your talents. That's nurture. So your personality is based of nature and nurture combined. So, but nature is the determining factor. You can enhance your skills, your talents, you can change your behavior, everything using nurture, but nature sets the limits to how far you can go. So that's about your personality. And I have spoken about the four personality types in my videos. Two are already done, two are yet to come. So I have to let you know that no person is just one of these personalities. You will have a base of one of these personalities, and you will have different combining traits from the other personalities. No one person is perfect. So you'll have the good sides of the personality and their bad sides too. So that's honestly nothing to worry about. That's your personality. Now, how does it influence or how does it affect your behavior? So, as I said, personality is something that shows your tendencies. Now, behavior is the way you act in public, the way you generally act with strangers or people you know. So, that is your behavior. Now, your personality influences your behavior in like many ways. So, for example, my personality in my nature part, it is in my nature that I can't sit for long to study, and that influences my behavior indirectly. Like if a person comes and gives me, oh, do this task for me, so I will, after doing a small part of the task, I will get up, I will go, I will take a round of my house, then I'll come back and sit. So because that's in my nature, and that is part of my personality, and it's influencing my behavior. That way, some people have a huge sitting time, I don't understand, but some people can sit for hours on end and can do not be distracted. They can just sit and they can study. That's not the case for me. But Yes. So pretty much that's how your personality influences your behavior, and your behavior is influenced by your personality. And there are external factors too. It's positive and negative reinforcement. So basically, like, there have been studies and there have been researches conducted on the topic that what influences your behavior. So the truth is, your personality and the external environment that you live in, and the external things or the apparatus around you, how does it affect you and how does it affect your behavior? So there has been a study conducted. They put a bunch of lab rats in a cage, and there was this rod which, if the lab rats they pressed it, they would be rewarded. Like they would get like a food pellet. So once by accident or out of curiosity, once they pressed it, they got a food pellet. And studies show that over the course of some days, like a week or so, the pressing of the bar increased repeat like multiple times. It increased so much that every moment the rats got, they were just pressing that bar. Now this can also be used. Now this is positive reinforcement. This can also be used in a negative way. That's called negative reinforcement. So there was this other part of the cage where this wall, it was electrified. If you touch it, you would get a current through your body. And once the rats, out of curiosity again or out of coincidence, once they touched it, they got an electric current, they got a shock. And over the next week they observed that the touching of that area, the rats just stopped going inside that area for the fear that they might get hit by the electric current. So this shows that your personality and your external factors both influence your behavior in quite major ways. And your I will tell you one thing. Your most people are like, I have gotten this question so many times. They're like, how can I change my personality? I want people to like me more. You can't change your personality, but you can change your behavior. Now, changing your personality is something that happens very rarely. It happens in sometimes traumatic or stressful situations, some triggering situations. That is a very, very rare possibility where your personality actually changes, but your behavior, you can influence it consciously. So your behavior, you can change it. Like, for example, people ask me, how am I supposed to make other people like me? I'm not popular. What should I do? People ask me this, how can I change my personality? You can't. You can only change your behaviors. For example, like, there is I have a friend or an acquaintance who seems a bit annoyed by my presence. So I will try to figure out what is it that I do that annoys her so much, or she gets irritated by me. Why? You try to figure out the root cause first, and after you've done that, you try to fix it. Like, for example, I have a tendency to bite my nails while I'm around her, and she doesn't find that very appealing. She finds it irritating. So, influencing my behavior consciously, and I will just, refrain from biting my nails in front of her. So, little, tiny changes in your personality can cause a lot of people to start liking you. And that's the answer to the question so many people have asked me. And there are so many questions. I will clear one misconception first. Psychologists don't read your mind. They are not some evil scientists that they just go like, okay, and then they just glean everything. It doesn't happen. Psychologists only guess with references of your behavior, as I said, your behavior, and the way you and your emotions, the emotions you feel. So those two combined give psychologists an idea of what you're actually thinking. They can't read your mind. So many people are like, oh, you study psychology, come here, come read my mind. It doesn't work like that. I have to say. So yeah, pretty much that's the crux of my topic. And yes, there is one more point I would like to mention. Like, your behavior is what shapes your personality and vice versa. So it's not just your personality that influences your behavior over the course of a very long period of time can affect your personality if you're consistent. Like in my behavior, I have suppose I have a bad habit of biting my nails, as I said. So if in my behavior I consciously tell myself, no, do not bite your nails, slowly my since my personality is nervous, I keep biting my nails. That's one thing. So my personality is influencing my behavior. But if I change my behavior, um consciously, that every time I do this, I'm like, no, I do not have to bite my nails, slowly that nervous factor can decrease by a little bit over the course of a long period of time. You can change your personality, but it will not change completely. You can't just go from an introvert to an extrovert completely. Like some people ask me that, oh yeah, yeah, that person is really introverted, can you do something, make them extrovert? That is only possible if there is a very traumatic or triggering event with the specific person. And I would say that the person can't actually change your personality consciously, but only they can change their behavior and over a long period of time sort of affect your personality. So yeah, that's basically the crux of my topic. If there are any other questions at all, feel free, go ahead, ask me, anyone. Yes, sure. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Jiya Agrawal. Oh, hope you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, now, people, like you said, you might have a bad habit of biting your fingers. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, now, so how do people change habits? How can one change their habits, bad habits?
Okay, so you're asking about habits. Now, I will tell you, habit is just a word for repeated behavior. So, suppose, yes, I have a bad habit of biting my nails. Now, that is just repeated behavior I exhibit when a certain situation, I encounter a certain situation and I have a tendency. Suppose I go on stage and I'm very nervous, so I start biting my nails. That's my reaction to a certain environment that gets created around me in a certain situation. Like I get stage fright, so I start biting my nails. Now you're asking, how can one change that habit? Um, Definitely, it depends on the habit you're trying to change, whether it's an addiction or is it just a little habit. Now, suppose I want to change this habit of biting my nails. I have to consciously tell myself every time I get nervous. I have to tell myself that I am not feeling nervous. I am feeling excited, because feeling nervous and feeling excited has the same bodily reaction. So I have to try to convince myself to put that nervous energy into more of an excited energy. Automatically, if you consciously put your thoughts into not biting my nails, every time your hand comes, just consciously tell yourself, do not bite your nails. Slowly, over a period of time, like a certain period of time, then you will completely forget about biting your nails. Anytime you come on stage, you may feel nervous, but this habit will go if you consistently tell yourself, no, do not bite your nails. That happens.
Okay, thank you. So how do your personality influence your behavior? How do people's personality influence that behavior?
So people's personality, like it gives them these tendencies. People's personality is just basically their mindset projected outside wherever they're talking to people. So I'll give you an example. Like suppose I have this friend who is an introvert, and she doesn't like being around people, and going to parties, and she doesn't like being around people. She's an introvert. What she likes more is sitting at home and reading a book. So one day I try and convince her, okay, come with me, I have a party, why won't you come with me? So but her tendency, her natural instinct will be to sit at home and read. So that, and anytime she goes in public, she'll get nervous, she'll start biting her nails, and she'll be like, no, I want to go home. So that's your behavior. That's her behavior. Like, anytime she goes around people, anytime this situation shifts, her personality tells her, go home, go home. You don't like being around people. So, for example, extroverts are in an isolated place. They will do anything they can to go and talk to another human being, honestly. So I know that. I know that feeling for myself. And so that's how, like, different types of personalities, it influences, and it just triggers you, like, okay, do this, do that. Your personality basically controls your consciousness, so it influences your behavior as well.
So now you spoke about consciousness. So how do our subconscious mind influence our conscious mind?
Okay, so I think the subconscious mind is not one thing that you control. Like, my conscious mind right now, I'm thinking that this mic is not straight and I need to fix it. That's my conscious mind. My subconscious mind is thinking about all the homework I need to do, since my exams are starting again. So that's basically, your subconscious mind thinks about all the things that are running in the background. Your brain is like a phone. So there's one app that you're concentrating on, like my conscious mind. Right now I'm looking at this and thinking about what I have to say. But your subconscious mind is like all those background apps running behind. Like, they are constantly refreshing and you know operating different functions there in your background. So, but that is the thing that keeps your phone going, that keeps your mind going. So if your subconscious mind shuts down, then all you will have left is thinking about the present, right now. You won't be able to think about consequences that might happen in the future, things that happened in the past that you can learn from, your mistakes that you can learn from. So there could be devastating consequences if your subconscious mind stops working. You can think of nothing at all but right now. It will be, honestly, your brain would stop functioning properly. All you would think of is, okay, right now I'm wearing my shoes, I have to wear my shoes. And then you would be like, oh wait, where did I go? Where do I have to go? That location where you have to go, that's running in your subconscious. If that's not there, then you will wear your shoes and you'll be like, okay, I wore my shoes, now where do I have to go? So it basically, it's the thing that keeps your mind going. It's like a phone, like I said.
All right, we have five senses, right? So how do our senses influence our behavior, like our eyes, our mouth, our ears, all of those senses? How do they influence our behavior?
Yeah, now that is a very important part. That is mostly biopsychology. So your all your senses, they are what allow you to react to a situation. So let me take an example. Like I said, the introvert friend of mine. So anytime she goes, she'll hear the chatter of people. She'll see so many people, she'll hear a lot of people talking, and that's what she does not like. So that will poke in her mind that, okay, go home. You do not like this, go home. That those senses will send signals to your brain, and her brain will be like, no, you don't have to be around people, go home right now. So that will influence her that, okay, I should go home, I do not want to be around people. So there are many, like, just like suppose I see a I do not I ask I don't see, I smell a bowl of my favorite pasta sitting a table across from me, and I'm blindfolded, I smell it. So automatically I get hungry, I'm like, I want to eat that. So that will be influencing my behavior. I'm just like, okay, bring it to me. I want to eat it right now. So it influences your behavior in many ways, all of your senses actually. So in one or the other way in your life, they'll be influencing your behavior many times. Trust me.
Okay, many have still not understand their personality. So, what are the common practices to do for one to know his or her personality?
Okay, so there are a couple of things you can do. So first of all, a lot of people are not very good judges of their own personality. It is okay. It's ironic, but a lot of people don't know their own personalities. So the most logical thing to do is gather a couple of your close friends. It doesn't matter one, two, three, how many that they are, and ask them to describe you in 3 or 5 words. So if you find that there are some words that are recurring, like among your close friends, the people who know you most, the people you stay with most, so it's very likely that they understand your personality better, because this happens a lot. So a lot of people think, oh, I'm an introvert, where actually they're like bursting with energy and trying to talk to anyone who comes their way. But once they're sad, they're like, no, I'm an introvert. This happens. People are bad judges of their own personality. I'm sad to say, but it's the truth. So the best idea would be to ask your close friends, your parents, your family, the people you stay with most. Gather a couple of them, one, two, three, and ask them what 3 or what 5 words describe me best. The most recurring words I would say would constitute your personality, and there are 4 main personalities. So just try and match them. There are some tests you take online, but I honestly doubt that they are very genuine or original. You can try them, but they only give you a very vague idea of your personality. What you If you actually want to know, ask your close friends. They are the ones that will tell you best for sure.
Exactly. Many do test online. They go to search for 16personality.com to know their personality.
Yes, that's one test. So many people do it.
Yeah. Okay, I want to ask you a question. Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I would call myself an extrovert because mostly I love being around people, and anytime I'm sitting in an isolated place, I get totally bored unless I am reading. When I'm reading, nothing can deter me. But yeah, mostly I'm an extrovert. I like to be around people, go out with my friends. I would call myself an extrovert.
Okay, who is an introvert?
Yes? Sorry, I didn't hear you
Did you
properly.
get did you get my question right?
No, I didn't exactly. Just
Okay, I asked
can you
who is an introvert? Who is an introvert?
Okay, you're asking about an introvert's personality. So I would say introverts are those people who have, a sense of calmness in their own body. They don't they don't feel comfortable around a lot of people, and they don't feel comfortable, sharing their feelings or, talking to a lot of people. They just like to be in their own bubble. So I've seen so many, like I have a lot of friends who are introverts. I have a lot of friends who are extroverts. So I know the differences in personality. Like introverts are more likely to sit at home and listen to music and read a book. Yeah, but extroverts are more likely. Oh, if you ask both of them, an introvert and extrovert, oh, you want to go to the mall? Introverts, the real response would probably be like, oh, I'm busy that day, when honestly they'll be doing nothing. And extroverts would cancel anything they have. Oh, I have homework, but I will come with you. So pretty much that's the difference.
All right. Can an introvert do public speaking?
Hmm. Yeah. Introverts are quite, I would say, they are sort of, you know, satisfied with their own company. They don't need the presence of anyone else to entertain them because their thoughts are enough, honestly. And an introvert can, I would say, changing an introvert to an extrovert would be one of the hardest things to accomplish, because for doing that you would have to push the person to go and talk to some people, you like. And this, I mean, changing a person's personality is the easiest in the youngest years. Like, for example, as a kid, like as a 2 or 3 year old, a kid exhibits like introvert tendencies, but the parents are like, okay, he'll grow up and he's going to be an introvert, let's try and make him an extrovert. So so what they'll do is basically, what they should do is they should go and they should help the child make friends who share the common interests and share the feelings. So the child will feel comfortable from a young age with those people, and it's very likely that they will stay friends till quite an older age. It's quite likely that the child will slowly learn to trust people, learn to make new friends, and they would remove all the toxic people from their life. Introverts have that one thing which is best about them: they don't have any toxic people in their lives. They just, anytime they see a toxic person or they feel that, oh, this person is being toxic, they cut off all ties without hesitation. And that is one of the best things about introverts. Like they're fully content in their own bubble. Yes, I would say.
So now you said changing from an introvert to an extrovert is very hard. So now, but what are the common practices that this introvert need to do to change to an extrovert? What can an introvert do to change to an extrovert?
You mean an extrovert to an introvert?
I mean
So,
introvert to extrovert.
oh, introvert to extrovert. So that's what I just said. Like, this is if you are trying to accomplish this when the introvert is fully grown up and has a fixed mindset. This is a really hard task. You will have to convince that introvert to try and trust people with their feelings, and trust people to talk to people actually. And it would really help if there would be a friend whom they have known since like childhood, or there would be someone who actually understands them. There are some people you just click with, like you can share anything with them, and you can speak to them about any of your feelings without any judgment. So that is one of the, the introverts usually have these one or two very close friends, like they can share anything in their personal lives with those people. And those are the best friends an introvert can hope for. And they don't show any, exhibit any tendencies to go and make more friends. They are happy with those two very close friends they have. So those two friends are the ones who are mostly capable of pushing that introvert, that go talk to more people. But honestly, it would be a very hard job. You would have to work very hard for it. But it's possible in a traumatic event. A person just, their mindset completely changes. So
All right. So now you spoke about mindset. Mindset. You spoke about fixed mindset for an introvert. So now, what's the difference between fixed mindset and growth mindset? And how can an introvert learn to get growth mindset to exclude
okay, so fix, yeah,
growth
okay.
mindset?
Okay, I get your question. Okay. So a fixed mindset is basically someone who is happy, they are content, they're satisfied with what they have. They do not have any inclination to go for something bigger, or they're either scared or they're happy. For example, right now I have one water bottle. Okay. and there are two over there. That far away, there are two water bottles. And I am really thirsty. I've drank this one, but I want to go for that. But I won't because I am satisfied in this. And I'm too scared that I walk that entire distance just for that. So that's called a fixed mindset. But a growth mindset is that, okay, I've done this, but I'm not satisfied. I want to go to the next level. So I will take that risk. I will walk across. I will get those two. And then I reach the next level. Then from there, I'll see four. That's how your growth mindset is. A growth mindset is something which allows you to see the next level and go for it. Like, basically, fixed mindset is for those people who don't exactly take risks. They um, they're like, I am happy in what I have. I do not want to take any risks and risk something bigger. So that's a fixed mindset. And the growth mindset is that I will take a risk and maybe it will pay off. So they go for it. That's called a growth mindset. So mostly I would say introverts have fixed mindsets because they are happy and content in whatever friends they have, and they are happy and content in themselves. And convincing an extrovert to go for a growth mindset, there are some things you can do for that. Like, you can for example, there's an introvert who likes reading books a lot. So the best idea to get that introvert to get to a growth mindset is to you know sort of motivate that person by giving them something that they like very much. For example, I'll tell that introvert, you make one more new friend, I will give you one new book. That person will be motivated that, okay, maybe I should do this. Like I told you, positive reinforcement, this helps a lot in like if you want to change someone's mindset. You go like, okay, I'm talking to the introvert, you make one new friend, I'll give you one new book. That introvert will be motivated that, okay, maybe I can try. And introduce them to people of their own kind, the people that share their interests. So I take that introvert to a book club and I'm like, go make one new friend, I will give you one more book. That person will be motivated and will resist, but will most likely try, at least give a try to try to make friends. Now that experience is something that may go in two directions. Now I push that person that, okay, go try and make a new friend, but that can explode in two different directions. Either the person makes a good friend and uh, becomes really close with that friend, that is one path. Or that person chooses the wrong person to interact with and becomes even more reclusive because that person blows them off or is like really mean to them. So the introvert will become even more introverted. They'll be like, I don't trust people anymore. So yeah, that's pretty much the two things you can do to push an introvert. Go a reward system and something that will motivate them, like try, at least try, same interests, something like that.
Wow, I love this. I so much love this. You're a genius. You're just hitting the hammer on the nail, straight to the point. Wow, I love this.
Thank you so much.
Somebody said good explanation. Mohit Agrawal. I don't know who is this. I don't know.
Yeah,
Is that your dad?
that's my father. That's my father.
Wow, I love that. I love that. Good support. Thank you, Dad, for joining. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us here on my podcast. I love you, Dad. God bless you for what you do for Jiya. Okay, now this is the next question. How do we cultivate this habit for growth mindset? For a person who have fixed
Okay.
mindset, how do they cultivate the habit for growth mindset? What habits do they
Okay.
cultivate?
So habit and mindset are two different things. If you want to cultivate a growth mindset, then there are the two things I told you: a reward system and something that some shared interests for the person, something that will give them a little push that, okay, you can try, you can at least try. So, like, for a growth mindset, you have to be aware of the risks and you have to be willing to take the risks. Like, suppose in a company, a CEO has to make a big decision, and the decision can backfire both ways. One way, it could go really well, and they could expand their business a lot. The other way, they would lose a lot of employees, but they would still be at a point to recover. Now the CEO debates these two, like what are the pros and what are the cons, and if they feel like the pros outweigh the cons, then the CEO will, if he's someone with a, if he or she is someone with a growth mindset, they would take that risk. They would be like, okay, there is big potential, and they would put in everything they have to make that succeed. But if it's someone with a fixed mindset, they would be like, we are fine as it is, and taking that risk is not worth it. So that is one of the biggest ideas for a growth mindset. That one thing inside your head is like, yes, you can take this risk, it will pay off. That is one in a growth mindset. And in a fixed mindset, the person's mind just constantly tells them it's not worth it, it might backfire, and they're not willing to take a risk. So yeah, that's one of the things. So you have to make the person a bit willing to take a risk. You have to show them that they took a risk once and it paid off. So showing them their own achievements really helps to change a person to from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset.
Okay, thank you for that one. All right, the next question is this: why are a lot of people sad or depressed? Or let me say, why are a lot of people sad and depressed?
Okay. Now that is a question that definitely depends on the person, but there is a feeling of unhappiness or depression in a certain person. Now there is a huge difference between unhappiness or sadness and depression. Depression is something which happens when people have a traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, post trauma. They have lost a loved one, or something very traumatic has happened to them in their life, and they are not able to you know relive those memories in their head. So they get depressed, they cannot, they lose the will to live anymore, to see the good in things. Unhappiness is something which is fleeting. It happens for only a small period of time, like, oh look, I failed the test. That's called unhappiness. You get unhappiness, then 4 days later I don't even remember it. 4 days later I'm like, okay, I have a new test, I need to study for it. So unhappiness and depression are two different things. Now why people? Because they lack the ability to see the good. Now I would say people in depression, they have a very valid reason, but they can try. People who are unhappy and they brood in that unhappiness, they have a choice. They can either stay there. Suppose I fail my test, I'm like, oh, I failed my test. Now there are two ways this can go. One, I keep sitting like this, oh, I failed my test, oh no, what am I so going to do? And then there's the other thing that yes, I am unhappy that I failed my test, but I put that energy instead into studying for the next test, which is 4 days. 4 days later, I have a new test, and I put that sad energy instead. I deviated to a more of motivated energy, and I'm like, okay, I may have failed this one, but I will recover for it in the next one, and I start studying for that one. That causes me to get a good grade in the next one. The person, if I go the first way, like I just keep brooding. I'm like, no, I failed my test. I don't study for the next one. I'm like, oh, what good will it do? And I failed the second one too. This leads to a string. This leads to it's a chain, and slowly you get really really unhappy, and you start being irritable in a lot of things. So the way you want to go is the second one. You want to apply your energy into something more constructive and something more motivating, something that will enhance your own abilities in the next in the incoming future.
Wow, you know how to explain very well. Bravo.
Thank
Kudos
you
to
so
you.
much.
All right, the next question is this. Is depression the cause for suicidal thoughts? Is depression the cause for suicidal thoughts?
That is some okay. Like I said, depression and unhappiness are two different things. Yes, sometimes depression is the cause for suicide because people feel like they cannot relive the memories. There is nothing left to live for, and they just keep going. They just keep rewinding those events in their head, and they stop seeing the good in life. They're like, I have nothing left to live for, and that's why they commit suicide. But there are some people who don't think it through properly, because the people who commit suicide, who are in depression and then they commit suicide, they thought it through multiple times that there is nothing left to live for, should I die? They are the people who actually think it through, and then they're like, I have nothing left to live for, there's nothing good on this planet, and then they commit suicide. But there are some people who fleetingly just think about it. There are some people who are like, oh, I failed my test, I'm so angry, they go and jump off a building. Now that is the sort of behavior which you really do not want to exhibit. You don't want to be you have to control your emotions. You can't let your emotions control you. If that happens, then there'll be a lot of chaotic situations in your life. So yes, depression is one of the main causes for suicidal rates in so many parts of the world, or the entire world, in fact. But uh, the thing is, depressed people, they can come out of depression if they choose to, if they have someone to pull them back up. If suppose I lose a very dear friend of mine and I go into depression, but I have another friend, someone who will, you know, convince me that there is still good. There's still good in the world. There's still things worth living for. They'll pull me out of that depression. So in that case, I won't be motivated to commit suicide, because I'll be like, okay, maybe there's still someone in the world who cares. Maybe there is still good in the world. So in that moment, I won't be, you know, thinking about committing suicide. But the people who have no one left, the people who have nothing left, they are the ones who commit suicide, because of course they can't relive that trauma. So yeah.
All right. Okay, now, how do people relieve the trauma of their past, their pain, this experience that keep refreshing over and over and again that will not make them want to move forward? So, how can one be relieved of their pain so that they have to move forward?
How? Okay, so you can't exactly forget your trauma, but you can overcome that, because there are extremely traumatic things that happen in your life. For example, I lose one of my very near and dear relatives, and I am completely broken by the grief, and I fall into depression. Someone pulls me out, I still have someone left. Someone pulls me out, but I'm still affected by that trauma. Now the thing is, you have to embrace it. You cannot just forget it like, okay, it never happened. You have to embrace your trauma. You have to think about all the good that person did in their life. Suppose I lost someone, I will think that, okay, wow, this person did so much good in their life, and they were such a great person. So you can honor their memory. Slowly you will begin to think about all the good things, good memories you had with them, rather than that one bad memory. So that is how you have to see the bright side. There is always a bright side. So like, even if I lose one of my very close relatives, I to overcome my trauma, I have to dwell on the good memories I had with them rather than the bad ones. If I dwell on the good memories, then I will be able to overcome my trauma and return to a normal state.
Wow, thank you, thank you. So now, a lot of people get hurt by their loved ones. And when your loved one provoke you or cheat you, people you love, they cheat on you and they do something you never expected them to do. And these people are still alive. And you're like, I'll never relate to this person again. I'll never relate to this person again. Because you don't want to relate to them again. Each time you see them, you keep getting sad, depressed, angry, and you feel so emotional. But how do the place of forgiveness help one to be relieved and free? What role do
Now,
forgiveness
I'll
have
tell
to
you
play?
one thing. If there is one person who breaks your trust, they will never fully gain it back, but they can gain it back to some amount, to some measure. For example, yes, there, suppose I have a partner and that partner cheats on me. I am very angry right now. I'm just like, I don't want to see you again. So at that moment, all I'm thinking about is how that person has betrayed me. But you have to hear the other person's end of the story. Now, if I find that that person cheated on me just because, uh, just to spite me, just because he wanted to get away from a very, he felt that there was nothing between us, and that's why he went with someone he actually liked. So at that point, I would just say that, okay, I do not want to see you again. And if that person comes to me like a year later and be like, I am sorry for what I did, they start apologizing, there will still be some measure of, there will be a huge measure of mistrust in that, for me, from that person. Like, I will, my natural instincts will be to deny everything, and I will just, yes, I will just be thinking that no, I should not, just don't trust this person, don't trust anything he says. And every time he says anything, I will just, my mind will just tell me to deny it. But eventually, if by some manner, like little tiny events, like starts to regain my trust, that will only happen to a certain measure. It it will never happen that someone breaks your trust and they regain it completely. So yeah, basically that's something that happens. And yeah, so you can never fully, like, sometimes when a person breaks your trust, you can never fully recover from that. There will always be a bad memory. Like, if this person cheats on me, and then I will have a measure of mistrust with my next partner also. I will, even though it's not the same person, my subconscious will tell me, oh, he might cheat on you too. So, to overcome that, you have to form a feeling of trust with someone. And once someone breaks your trust, they can never regain it completely. So, I would say that second chances are fine as long as it was not very serious. Anything that happened, the incident that happened wasn't serious. Till that point, second chances are fine. But I would say someone who betrayed you and someone who came back just asking for forgiveness and just telling you, take me back please, that I would say is something to avoid. I would suggest you to just say no to the person and say that, I can never fully trust you again, and that's something that has to be there between two partners. So that relationship would not be successful in the future, I would say.
Wow, wow, wow. So how can anyone train their mind to become a genius? A genius.
Well, that is a very situational question. Like, becoming a genius by definition is someone who has mastered a certain subject, or who has full knowledge of a certain subject. Now, I would say that that would require a huge amount of your time, a huge amount of your energy, and you would have to apply your mind completely to that thing. For example, there are some people, like I will take an example of, let me take some famous personality. For example, let's say Elon Musk. Now he is a genius in his space, the rocket things he made. Now, if you ask any of us general people some very complicated question about rockets, will we be able to answer it? No, because we don't have the entire knowledge. We haven't put in our efforts into thinking. We haven't into learning about that subject. We have never been you know knowledgeable about that subject. But if you ask Elon Musk, go and ask Elon Musk the same question, he'll answer it with no difficulty whatsoever. So being a genius is something that would require tremendous amounts of your energy and time, and it would, like, uh, a lot of your willpower also. It would take a lot of your willpower, because to focus on one subject is not the tendency of the human mind. But if you really are passionate about a certain subject, then you will put your mind to it and learn so much about it that anyone in the world can ask you any question about that subject and you should be able to answer it. That is the level of mastery a genius actually has. So it only happens when you're extremely motivated and you have a you have a passion for that. You have a very you have a burning passion for that specific subject. So yeah, it's not easy though.
All right, thank you. So how long does it take for one to master a thing to become a genius at it?
Yes. So they say that it. Most people say that it takes about 10,000 hours of mastery of learning of a subject to become a master or a genius at the subject. So yeah, that's the approximate time. 10,000 hours you continuously. I mean, not continuously, but 10,000 hours is the amount of time it would take you to actually completely master a subject. So if you do it for an hour a day, it would take you 10,000 days continuously, an hour a day, consistently, 10,000 days to master a subject. If you do 2 hours a day, it would take you 5,000. So yeah, according to that, it takes you a specific amount of time. Yeah, 10,000 hours. That's your huge amount time.
Is huge amount indeed. Huge amount. Okay. Now, what do you define as willpower? What is willpower?
Willpower is the ability of your mind to override all other things your mind is telling you. It's your ability to override all the things your mind is telling you. Like, for example, in the morning, maybe you've felt it, like in the morning you wake up and you just don't want to get out of bed. You just have this subconscious feeling that's telling you that no, don't wake up, don't get out of the bed. Your entire mind is bombarding you, no, don't get out of bed, just stay in there, you're comfortable anyways. But if someone has that willpower that no, I have to get up, I have to go to work, I have to do something substantial today, then that thing overrides all of the other commands your brain is giving you to go to sleep again, go to sleep again. That overrides everything and you will get up and you will go. That is, so your willpower is one of your strongest tools, and it also helps when someone is trying to manipulate you. Like, for example, there are some people who are very um you know well versed in the art of manipulation. So standing up to those people is something that takes a tremendous amount of willpower. And willpower is basically your ability to override all other external or internal uh, things that your mind or anyone else is telling you. Your willpower is your internal instinct or your urge to do something. So if it's really that strong, it will override anything else in the world. So yes, that's the thing.
Okay, thank you. I'm really enjoying this session like crazy. I'm really enjoying it.
So am
Everything you're
I.
saying here is powerful. Hope you're enjoying it too.
Of course.
Okay, all right. The next question is this: how can we discipline ourselves to be productive? How can we discipline ourselves to be productive? So first of all, I would like to define the word discipline.
Uh, Sorry, I can't hear you. There's some background noise. Just can you repeat?
Okay, let me repeat it. How can we discipline ourselves to be productive? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
All right, that's the first question. How can we discipline ourselves to be productive? Then number two, how do you define discipline? The word discipline.
Okay, so I'll answer number two first. That would be helpful. Discipline is uh, Discipline is a lot like willpower. Discipline is the ability of you to stay in a certain routine, no matter what happens or what anyone else is telling you, what your own mind is telling you, that okay, go to sleep back. But mm, because my mind is disciplined, then I will wake up at 5:30, no matter if I slept at 4:30 or I slept at 12. My disciplined mind will tell me, wake up right now. So I will, because I am fixed in that certain routine of mine. And I have complete control. I have complete mastery of my own mind and what I allow to affect me. That's discipline. Now, how can you discipline yourself to be productive? That differs from person to person, but and the thing you're doing. But to be productive, I would say that the number one thing you need is your willpower. Then the number two thing you need is a comfortable environment for you to sit in. And number three would be your desire to do something. Like, you need, first of all, you need to have the willpower to get up, go, sit down, and start working. Then you need a comfortable environment. For some people just can't be productive, and trust me, this has happened to me too. You just can't be productive when there is noise around you. Some people have it when they are isolated, when they can't sit with silence around them. They have to be in a bustling environment to properly work. Some people crave the silence, and it's different for everyone. So I would suggest, first you should find a comfortable environment and a comfortable place where you can sit, you can collect your thoughts, and you can start working. And then you have the desire to actually do it. If doing this is something that someone has forced on you, or something that you actually don't wish to do, you won't give it your 100%, no matter how much external motivation you get. Oh, I'll feed you chocolate, I'll feed you ice cream. That doesn't work unless you have an innate desire to complete that specific task that you have to do. And yeah, that's pretty much the entire thing of productivity. Productivity is basically sitting and doing what you are supposed to do, and nothing else whatsoever, and doing it with complete focus and you know complete innate desire to do that task perfectly. That's productivity.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, how does our environment influence our behavior positively and negatively? Do you get my question?
Yes. Yeah, I said that in the first in my first thing. Like, there is positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. These two things come from your external environment, and those two things influence your behavior in major ways. For example, there was a study conducted. They separated a bunch of children into two groups, and they gave each one a task to do. There was one group where there were like a couple of adults going around, and they were both assigned the same task. And there was one group where there were a couple of teachers going around and encouraging the children, praising them for the work they've done. And the other group was just um, just given the promise that, oh, you'll get a reward after this. um, a big reward after you complete the task. And there were no people to come and say, wow, you've done such a good job. They were just doing it on their own. And so the children who were constantly encouraged, in short intervals of time, that, oh, you're doing a good job, they were the ones who were proven to have been more productive. And the people who did the task more better, more efficiently, were the ones who were provided with constant encouragement. So that's positive reinforcement. Like, someone coming and telling you, okay, you're doing good, wow, this is such a great job. That's called positive reinforcement. That gives your subconscious a signal to, you know and you won't even realize this, but you will have an innate, once a person tells you you're doing a good job, your your brain will automatically tell you to, okay, do some more so you can impress this person. And however much you don't want to impress the person, your brain will automatically tell you, do some more, he'll be impressed. That's your tendency, that's your brain's tendency, it's normal. And then negative reinforcement is when, suppose a child, a very overachieving child, receives a 95 out of 100 in a test, and he goes home and he shows the test paper and he is happy for himself. But he shows the test paper to his parents and his parents are disappointed. They are like, they say that this is not acceptable, you have to score higher. So this is called negative reinforcement. The the child is automatically discouraged. He's like, I worked so hard for it and I feel like I've gotten a good score, but people from the external environment are telling me that I should have scored higher. That's called negative reinforcement. That will demotivate the child. That the poor child will not study even more after that. He would study, but pretty much his heart wouldn't be in that study. And I will tell you, that's something that you don't want happening. And so you should always give positive encouragement to the people around you, positive reinforcement for their behavior rather than negative reinforcement. So yeah, that's something that affects your behavior in a major way.
All right, thank you. So, how do we do with imposter syndrome? That mindset that will tell you, you're not good enough, you can't do this. So, how do we do with this imposter syndrome?
I apologize, but I cannot hear you clearly. Your video is frozen and everything. I cannot see.
Can you hear me clearly now? Can you hear
Yeah,
me clearly?
yeah, now I can hear you.
And you can see me, right? Can
Yeah,
you
yeah,
see
I
me?
can see you now.
Okay, humans,
Yes.
how can we do with, how can we deal with this imposter syndrome that's telling us we can't do this, we can't do that, we're not good enough? That voice that will be talking to you inside, that imposter syndrome, how do we deal with it?
Okay, so you're asking me how to deal with your that inner little voice that tells you, okay, you're not good enough, you can't do this. So dealing with that is something that will always be a big task, but there are a few ways to deal with this. Now, I would say the first one would be to to disregard the opinion of that voice. Tell that voice back, speak to it, tell it that I just did this and I think I'm good enough, so your opinion does not matter. And completely just block that out. Yes, it may torture you from time to time. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, look, you've done so bad. Convince yourself that I will do better the next time, so that does not matter. And slowly that voice will start shutting up in your mind, and it will that part of your brain will start understanding that you do not care about what that part of the brain says, and you will just keep going, you will do better the next time. So so s- so bit by bit that voice will disappear over the course of time. It may torture you, come and torture you from time to time, that, oh, look, you've done so bad. You have to tell yourself, I am going to do better the next time, and I have done better, so I do not care. You have to simply be very firm with the voice, like you are with a child, like a child, you know.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, Gia, I want to ask you, what are your daily routine? What are your daily habits? What do you do every day? Your daily routine.
Okay, my daily routine. Well, I have a packed schedule. So right now I have my summer vacations. I have free time, which is a luxury, honestly. But yeah, so I'll tell you my normal school time routine. So I get up in the morning around about 6 o'clock, and I get ready. The bus comes at 7. I leave for school, and I return from school at about 3:30 p.m. I eat something and have a little energy booster, and then I leave for my tuition at 4:15. I return at 6:45 or 7. Then I sit down, I do my school homework, then I do my tuition homework, and then I go down for a little bit of fresh air. I talk with my friends, sometimes we play, and I come back at around 9. I eat my dinner, maybe read something, and then I just check. I pack my bag for the next day, make sure everything is in place, and then I go to sleep. So my schedule is totally packed, and I barely have time to do anything other than study. And at this point it's pretty much become acceptable to me, because I have been doing this for a long. So
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, how long do you study a day? How long do you study a day? How many hours do you study a day?
if you're counting school and tuition, it's wow. I have to count. Wait, 9, 10, 11, 9 to 10 hours if you count my school and my tuition. So along with 2 hours of tuition, and 2 hours, 1 or 2 hours of my daily study, and then the other 6 or 7 hours of school. So yeah, a long time. I would say about 8 hours total, 8 to 9 hours. I would say,
All right, thank
not.
you so much. We've come to an end of this podcast. We're done for today. You've answered my question. I look forward to bringing you some other time. And I hope you'll be prepared to come some other time once I invite you.
Yes, of course. It was a pleasure talking to you.
All right. I hope you are also prepared for our challenge. I hope you keep that in mind for our challenge. You remember? Do you?
Yes, I do. I do remember that, of course.
So when are we getting started? Is it this month or next?
I honestly have no idea. I have to I have to check when I have even a bit of a break from my schedule. That's the time where I'll be able to implement that pretty much, completely. Because the only day I have time is like Sunday. Sunday is the only day I have time. Like
Do you go to
barely I
church on
have time
Sunday?
on Saturdays. So
No. Okay. Okay, I thought you're a Christian. You're not a Christian.
no.
Because I see you for the Christmas cap, Christmas clothes. I was like, oh, is she a Christian?
Oh no.
Remember, when we start the challenge, you are not going to give excuses. You will do it from beginning to the end. Anytime we start, we will do it from the
Yes,
beginning to
of
the end.
course. That's why I am excited to find actually a time for it, because I know that if I start it once, I really don't want to leave it in the middle. Like have one excuse or the other. I actually want to complete this from start to end. That's why I want to complete this at a point where it's actually possible for me, where I actually have time. So that's why I'm looking for an opening somewhere. Maybe I'll have some holidays or somewhere. If this would have been at the start of the summer holidays, then maybe I could have completed some part of it. But my entire school year will be pretty much hectic, but there will be some holidays in between, so I have to manage in that somehow. Oh yes.
All right, no problem. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you
You are a
so much.
genius.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for having me. Yes.
All right, bye for now. And again, I want to ask you a
Bye.
question before you leave. Before you leave,
Yes.
how has Ma'am Priyanka impacted you?
Sorry.
I said, how has Ma'am Priyanka impacted you?
I'm sorry. I can't hear you. Did you say something?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. That's better. That's better.
Okay, I said, how has Ma'am Priyanka, how has she impacted you?
Oh, okay, okay. You're asking about Priyanka ma'am. Yeah, I used to take her personality development classes, but honestly, I completely lost time for that. But I'll tell you, in the months I was there, it was completely phenomenal, and she is an amazing mentor. She is an amazing teacher, and I personally met with her some months ago. I think a couple of months ago, I personally met with her, and it is so refreshing to be in the presence of someone like her. And she is a great human being, and I honestly don't understand how she manages her schedule. Her schedule is so busy, and even busier than mine, yet she finds time for everyone, to talk to everyone and each one of her students and inspire them. And honestly, I think she is a totally phenomenal woman, and I would like to thank her for her contribution in all of this. Like, I think she is the one who introduced you to me. Am I right? I would like to thank her for this. Like, she is the one who imparted all the values and, all my communication skills that I am using right now. Personality development, her classes really were amazing, and she is an amazing person. Wow.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. You co-authored a book with her, right?
Yeah.
You co-authored a book with her. Am I correct?
Yes, I did. I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah, I remember. That inspirational book, right? Life of Inspiration, something like that.
Yeah, living life of inspiration. Actually, me and 24 of her other students, we co-authored a book. We Each one of us chose a personality to talk about, an inspiring personality to write about, and we each wrote a chapter on on their inspiring lives and how they have affected humanity in a very good way. So yeah, that's our book. 25 stories of 25 inspiring people.
All right, thank you. Let's end the session now. My regards to your parents. Tell them that I am greeting
Uh,
them. Tell
yeah,
them I
my
say thank
parents
you.
are currently not here. There.
All right.
Yes, I will.
Drop a message to them later. Okay, bye.
Okay, no problem. Bye. Thank you for having me.
Subscribe to this channel, share this video, like, and comment. Thank you.